Hi, my name is Leah Mai and this is my first YouTube video. Like, I'm so elated to actually start this for once. If you know me, you know I've wanted to do YouTube for years, and I've actually done one YouTube video. I think it was like a fashion week video, and I somewhere in the abyss of YouTube, but I never actually kept it up. And now I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Like, we're in a pandemic, we're all locked in our homes. This is the time to start creating content and doing what I've said I should be doing ages ago. I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out. My nails are trash. So if you see them and they're looking very butters, just kind of bear with me. I need to take them off. So yeah, I'm gonna get into my delivery story. My beautiful baby girl, Chinara, was born on the 17th of February this year. And you know, it's been such a magical time to just be a mum and get to know her and like get comfortable with being a mum, because it's such a big life-changing process. But it's been really great, and I've had so much support, and like so many my friends and family have just been absolutely amazing. So salute to you guys, because you guys have really like helped me just adjust and have like such a warm and beautiful start to motherhood. I thought, you know what, I want to share my story. I'm gonna actually include some footage as well. Just stay tuned, get your wine, get your tea, whatever you're gonna do, because I'm sure this will be a long one, because I gave birth on the 17th of February. I'm gonna start off with leading up to my delivery, because honestly, that period of time was a real test for me. And I think there's so many things that happened that I wasn't aware of, I wasn't expecting, I was flabbergasted because I'm a first time mum. I just didn't know. Even if someone tells you, until you actually go through it yourself, you'll never really know. So I'm going to start at when I was 38 weeks, because that's when I went on maternity leave. Now, I had a really good pregnancy. I did have a few hiccups. So I had neurovirus through my pregnancy. I had that in my third trimester. That was horrible. That was so bad. And I had a series of really bad colds, and I had to get the flu jab and stuff. But overall, I had a low risk pregnancy, and it was great. Chinara was great. Like, she gave me a really good pregnancy. I could do that one again. When I went on maternity leave, I was in full nesting mode. I was going to IKEA every day. I was walking up and down. I was doing everything. And I was still making sure I was mobile, but also still resting as well. But, you know, by the time, I really thought I was actually going to go into labour a lot sooner, because I was getting pelvic pains. I was getting the Braxton Hicks. Little did I know, my baby was like, no, I'm going to actually chill. I'll come when I'm ready. I got to 39 weeks and 6 days. And at that point, I was just over being pregnant. But I was excited because my due day was the following day, and I had my midwife appointment. And I knew that she was going to probably do a sweep. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what a sweep is basically when the midwife kind of goes up your vagina and she tries to sweep around your cervix. And that is meant to kind of like stimulate the whole labour process, or your cervix to dilate, which is what you need to be able to give birth. I'd heard people say that the sweep was like really bad, really painful, but for me, throughout my whole pregnancy, I wanted to just think and feel that this was going to be a positive experience, everything was going to be great, and I just drummed that into my head throughout my whole pregnancy, because I just felt like positive affirmations really take toll on your body and your mind. And if you think negative, you'll have a negative experience. And I didn't want to have a negative pregnancy. I went to my midwife appointment. I didn't see my usual midwife. Nonetheless, she was really nice and she was cool. She gave me a sweep, and I kid you not, I literally had to scream and tell her to stop. It was so painful. I just cannot even describe the pain. But basically what she had said to me is that my cervix wasn't ready for labour. So my cervix was what they call posterior. So posterior means that naturally our cervix is like this, it's back. And what you need it to be when you're going into labour or when it's dilating, it needs to be like this. And it was not stretchy, it wasn't spongy like it needs to be able to start the dilation process to go into labour. I literally was deflated. I was stressed out. I left. I called my mum. I was crying. I called my husband. I was like, oh my God, I'm not ready. Like, and you know, my due date was the following day. So I was like, when is this baby gonna come? Like, it needs to, like, my due date's tomorrow and I'm nowhere near to going into labour. And she was just like, well, you know, things you need to do: eat pineapple, keep walking up and down, you know, bounce on your bouncing ball, all things that I was kind of doing anyway. And then another thing that happened in my midwife appointment that kind of just spun me completely was that she was like, right, we're going to book your induction. And I was like, hold on a minute. I've still got another midwife appointment to go. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? She was like, we just have to book you in anyway. If you can't go over more than 12 days overdue, or 14 days overdue, your baby has to be here by 42 weeks basically. But they start you off 12 days over your due date. So that was going to be the 19th of February. So I was just like, you know what, that can't happen. And the reason why I was so adamant that I wanted to have a natural birth is because I really wanted a water birth. But even though I was still quite like open to the fact that this might not go to plan, you know, in your heart you're just like, I really want my water birth, I really, really want this. So anyway, once I left my appointment, I was like, you know what, I'm getting tons of pineapple, I'm gonna be drinking raspberry leaf tea, I'm doing everything known to man. So I was literally like determined that I wanted to give birth like ASAP. So my due date comes, my mum came round and we had curry, me, her and my husband. We chilled. I think we was watching Love Island. Yeah, Love Island was on. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And I really thought that I was actually going to have given birth before this, because I was getting Braxton Hicks, I was getting really bad pelvic pain. And I can't explain to you how low I felt. I felt so depressed. And I think anyone who has given birth before knows that if you go past your due date, just how deflating that is. I had a lot of people like, you know, so excited for my daughter to arrive, and that was amazing. But when you get like 5,000 calls in one day saying, where's the baby? Texts, all your friends, all your family, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Gone into labour, gone into labour. They're not meaning it in a bad way or anything, but you just feel rubbish. Like, you just feel like, why can't I go into labour? Like, what is going on with me? And that can really mess up with your hormones, especially because the hormone you need to actually go into labour is called oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that you need to, it's associated with like happy thoughts. And it's the hormone that you need to kind of allow your body to go into labour. And that's what helps to start the surges, or AKA contractions. So I did hypnobirthing, by the way. And hypnobirthing is almost like you use different words, like you use more positive words to kind of like put your mind in a space of that, you know, labour is not painful. It's just a surge. It's something that's going to happen, but it will be over. And you can get through it, and you can breathe through it. And there's all different techniques that they show you or demonstrate to you to practice. And that's what I was doing throughout, say from about 36 weeks is when I started the whole like hypnobirthing and practicing and things like that. So I decided, that's it. I am going to just take some time out until I give birth. I'm only going to speak to people who need to hear from me, i.e. my birthing partners, my husband and my mum. Everyone else, I kind of just let them know, look, I'm going to let you guys know when I have given birth, obviously. But until then, just kind of leave me alone. I logged off of Instagram. I know, a bit dramatic, but I'm a Leo anyway. So we're just dramatic people anyway. So that week, I had my second midwife appointment. I think it was the 13th of February. So I had another sweep, and I actually saw my normal midwife. So I felt a lot happier about that. And she also had like a trainee midwife. So yeah, when I had my sweep, it went a lot better. So instead of being posterior, like I said before, my cervix was now about mid-posterior. So I still wasn't ready, but I was mid-posterior. So I was getting there. And she said she's felt the baby's head a bit, but she said the baby is not in the right position. I think her back was to the front of my stomach wall, which is fine, but she wasn't in the middle. And she needed to be in the middle so that she was putting the pressure on my cervix so that I could then dilate. And that's what starts the whole labour process. She said to me to do all these different techniques and do the same things that I'd been doing already. So, you know, walking and things like that. So I decided that I was just gonna, you know, go home, do what she said. But I felt so much happier. I was so happy. I felt so positive, and I felt a lot different to how I felt when I had my first sweep. It gets to the 15th of February. Now, this is the start of my pre-labour. An incident happens outside of my house, and it was really, really stressful. I can't lie. It wasn't a nice thing that happened, but I just felt really, really stressed. I was writing a letter, and I finished the letter, and I just felt like it was about 5 p.m. and I felt like I need to get out of my house. My husband had stepped out for a few hours, and so I just decided that I was going to send all the eBay stuff that I was planning to do the following day. So I took them all to my local post office. And then I came home, my husband was cooking dinner, but I was like, look, babe, I kind of want Chinese. And he was like, you know what, get the Chinese, that's fine, go and get it. I ordered it, they delivered it, I got everything I wanted. And I started to kind of feel like what they call lightning. So that's when the baby's kind of dropping down, and it's kind of like a shock sort of pain. So it comes and it goes. So I felt that first, and then I didn't feel anything again. But then about 10 p.m, I started to feel the surges. But I thought, you know what, I've kind of felt this before, because I had felt this after I had my second sweep. But this time it was coming bang on every 10 minutes. So anyway, I decided I was just going to get ready for bed, which I did. I had a shower, and I slept. I went to sleep. I woke up a few times in the night because the pain started to intensify a bit more, but it literally felt like a period pain. So imagine having like a period pain every 10 minutes and then it just goes and you're fine. That's what it feels like. So it got to about 7 a.m. and I was just like, you know what? This pain is intensifying now. So I called my mum and I was just like, Mum, could you come? Because I think things are starting to actually happen now. I've consistently had pain for quite a few hours now. We're now in the 16th of February, and it's been like, what, 9 hours, and I've been having this consistently. I've been able to sleep through it, but it's still happening. My mum comes, we chill, we eat. My husband was writing down all the times and just monitoring how quickly my contractions were coming. I managed to have a few naps, but I was still quite tired, because imagine having pain every 10 minutes and now it's increasing to every 5 minutes. So my contractions or my surges were coming every 3 to 4 minutes. So we called the triage unit at my hospital that I was having the baby in. They said basically you can come in, but you don't sound quite ready. But I was getting to a point, and it was about 9 p.m. at this point, where, you know, this has been nearly 24 hours. I'm tired. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to just go with an open mind. I'm going to go in and I just want to find out where I'm at. Now, I'm just going to put in a clip so you can actually kind of see how I was during my pre-labour. Because what you think pre-labour is like and what it actually is just two different things. You are absolutely fine, but when you get the contractions or the surges, that's when, you know, things are a bit peaked. Don't mind my swollen face. I was heavily pregnant, so I look ridiculous, but that is just how I kind of looked. So I am
I don't want to be this nonsense.
Labour. Bringing my oxytocin down. I am in probably early labour right now. I'm having.
So funny, because she makes these videos. Yeah, she makes up.
Can you just stop interrupting my video?
Go on, babes, go on.
Anyway, so I am in early labour. It's all started probably yesterday about 7:38, and I just started to get like twinges. And then I had a Chinese, which was great. It was so lovely. And then I had more pains, and they felt like period pains. So that all started. And then let me go this way because the lighting's better. So yeah, after the Chinese, I then started to get like period pains.
And then they what felt like period pains anyway, and then I literally just felt them throughout the night. So I did go to sleep, but I've been, oh god, I think I'm getting another surge.
You gonna record it?
No. So I'm now at 2 to 3 minutes with my surges, and wow, it's a lot. The surges are strong. I'm gonna see how I go for the next hour and then potentially go to the hospital. I've just got my hypnobirthing on my TV. So we've got the I'm on my ball, as you can see. Just see how far I've dilated. We'll hope and pray that like it's actually a decent active labour position, because my contractions are definitely in the active labour phase. And yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
Went into the hospital and we went to the birth centre. So as I said before, I wanted to have a water birth. We went to the birthing centre and I was met by this lovely midwife called Sev, who she checked me over. She gave me like to do a urine sample, and then she checked me over and she was just like, oh, I'll be honest with you, you're still mid-posterior. So my cervix is still there, and she said, your baby's still not in the right position. She also was going through my notes. So at the beginning of your pregnancy, you're given this folder and it has all your notes, and you have to take that to every appointment. One thing she said is, well, she was a bit concerned because I had a fibroid. And that was one of the things that I found out when I was pregnant. I found out I had a fibroid, and I found out I had a 2 centimetre cyst. My fibroid was only 1 centimetre, and it was actually at the top of my womb. So it wasn't like it was in a awkward position for my baby to be delivered, or could be obstructive or whatnot. But nonetheless, she was really concerned, and I'm not sure if it was experience to why she was that concerned, because I'd gone through all of my appointments and no one had even sniffed it. They just said, you're still low risk, it's absolutely fine. She says to me, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to have a water birth. And at that moment I was just like, why? Like, I'm low risk, we are here now, like what's the help? What's the problem? So she was just like, well, you know, because you've got this fibroid, I'm just concerned that you might bleed out. I'm going to have to speak to the doctor. I'm going to have to speak to the midwife in charge and whatnot. And I was like, whoa, okay. But at this point, I'm just going through the motions. My contractions or my surges are really intense now. They come in every 2 to 3 minutes, but they are intense. But obviously my cervix is not ready, so I'm not going into labour. She comes back, she says, look, I've spoken to the midwife in charge, and she basically said that you should go to the delivery suite, which means no water birth. I can't say I was really annoyed. I was really focused at that point. I do remember saying, you know, I don't understand why this is coming up now that I'm now ready to actually, or nearing ready to actually give birth. Like, this should have been highlighted way before. And she was like, you know, I'm not sure what's happened with the community midwife, but everyone has their own expertise and experience, blah, blah, blah. She said, like, when you come back, you're going to have to go to the delivery seat. Don't come to the birth centre. So I went home, and she'd given me paracetamol and I think cohydramol. And that was supposed to be my first point of pain relief. So you can opt for any pain relief you want. At first you can go for pethidine, but if you do go for pethidine, you will be on the delivery suite, because they have to monitor you, because it actually slows down your contractions, or can slow down your contractions. You go into the higher risk category. So I wanted to start off with the lowest form of pain relief, which was just paracetamol, and then build myself. I went home, and the surges at that point were mad, especially after I had that sweep. At this point as well, my waters had not broken, and I had not had a show. And a show is the mucus plug that is, like, I think just before the cervix that comes out. And then obviously your waters are what is in the sac in your belly with your baby. So none of that had come. as well, but I was having my surgeries. So these are all things that can happen. It's not, you know, instantly you're going to have your waters break and your show and all of this stuff. It doesn't always happen like that. And I was a testament to that. Gone home, I've had a bath, come out of the bath, and I kid you not, pain was out of this world. I couldn't sleep. So this is like about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock now. Just couldn't sleep. I was up. I was just in a different zone. I was trying to breathe through it. I was trying to do my hypnobirthing techniques. I was walking up and down. I couldn't lie down. I was just a mess. I was a mess. Then I went to the toilet. I think it was about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 1 a.m. and I saw a show. I was like, oh, things might be happening now. So had my show, still no waters broken though. Fine. And it got to about 4:30 a.m. I remember because I looked at my phone and I was just like, I need to go back to this hospital and I'm not coming back home. And that's what I said to my husband. I just said, look, call the triage unit again. I need to come back in, please. My contractions at that moment in time were coming, they were just constant. Or I would have a relief for like a minute maximum, but they were constant, just constant pain, constant. And I just couldn't, I'd only had like paracetamol and the carhydramol, and that had done nothing, literally nothing. And I was just like, I need to, whatever they want to do now, whatever happens, I just need to go into hospital and I need to have this baby. So went down to the hospital. I went to the triage unit and she did my assessments, you know, checked how many fingers or whatever she could get up, because that's how they do it. They check how much fingers they can get up you, and that is their testament to how many centimeters dilated you are. And my mum was praying at this moment. So my mum's praying, even I'm on the table and I'm praying. Literally, she said, you are 5 to 6 centimeters dilated. I was so happy. She was just like, right, so you're ready. You're in active labor, because what you need to be is 4 centimeters and you need your contractions to be 2 to 3 minutes in between at a minimum. So I was having all of that. I was 5 to 6 centimeters. I was ready to have my baby delivery suite, because that's where I was going to go, right? So I went into the delivery suite and I was waiting for my midwife that was going to be assisting me to give birth. And I can't lie, when I went into the room, I was just like, oh my God, really? Is this what I'm going to be giving birth in? Like, because in the birthing centre, when you go in, and I'm going to put in a clip of how it is, but you literally have like, the lights are dimmed as well, because that's all, again, helping your oxytocin increase. And yeah, like, it's literally just a really peaceful experience. The midwife that came round, she was really lovely. She's jolly. She's like, how are you? You know, this is like 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just in pain. You know, she's like, do you want to try and have gas and air? And I was just like, I'm not really sure. I'll try it. Let me try it. That was the next step up for pain relief. Tried the gas and air. Best thing ever. I mean, at first I was a bit woozy with it. Sorry, not wheezy. I kept doing it, and it really helped. She said to me, you know, I spoke to the doctor. I know you were supposed to be on a birthing centre, and then they thought that you were going to have to come onto the delivery suite because of your fibroid. But the doctor said your fibroid's so small, and your sister's gone anyway now. We're happy for you to go back to the birthing centre. And that's why I will always have to thank God, because God got me through a difficult birth. Labour is no joke. Giving birth is no joke. But look how my story was about to change into something that it shouldn't have been, into what it should be. They wheeled me back round to the birthing centre, and I still had the same midwife that had kind of referred me elsewhere, but she was really nice, and she was like, oh, I'm so happy that you're able to come back. So we got set up. She filled up the tub. You've probably seen the clip, but I'll probably show you some more clips and stuff in this as well. at this point, I decided that I was just going to be naked. Now, when you go in the water, you can have your bikini on, you can be naked, you can have your clothes on, whatever you want. You can have your partner as well. You can have one other person in there. But I thought, you know, at that point, I didn't want no one to be in there. I'm still doing my hypnobirthing, breathing, I'm using the gas in air, and it was just really magical. It's really peaceful, really cool. I didn't really feel like I had a midwife there. The only time they really kind of bothered me was when they were checking the baby's heart, which they do, I think, every 15 minutes. Got to about 9 o'clock and I changed midwives at this point because they changed shifts. And my new midwife said, look, I'm gonna have to check you. And she checked me and she said, right, she was like, yeah, you're 9 centimeters, you only got 1 more centimeter to go. For reference, you need to be 10 centimeters to give birth. So got in the bath now. An hour later had passed and I started to feel like I'm ready to push. At this moment in time, I couldn't even open my eyes. I was literally like in my own little trance. I kind of felt down there, and I remember hearing the midwife saying, oh, all of that's coming out is all the membrane stuff that's coming from the womb. It's probably her waters actually coming out as well, because my waters still had not broken. I checked down there and I felt like a bowl. It almost felt like a plastic bag. You know, like a plastic bag when it's really tensioned and it's got air in it, like a balloon. That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like a smooth balloon. And I was like, I screamed. I was like, it's the head. It's the head. And they all looked at me like, okay, Leah. But they thought I was just delirious. And then my mum kind of like, I think my partner was holding me up at this point. So I can't believe this happened. All of a sudden, I was editing the video and I realised that the last part of my video didn't record, and it set me back. But I know this is like a common thing that happens with YouTubers. I think I felt the head. Yep, I felt the head, and then my mum actually looked and then she saw the head as well, and she was like, oh my god, no, it is the head, it's actually the head. So the midwives, they were kind of away from us, and I purposely wanted that, and I think they could see that we were in control. So you can have your midwife be as hands-on as you want. Midwives came down, and I remember at that time I did open my eyes, so I saw the midwife, and then I saw the trainee midwife. The trainee midwife was actually the midwife that was in my my last sweep, so that was quite nice to see her there. And she said it was her first birth as well that she witnessed. The midwife came, she looked down and she was like, oh, it looks like the baby is actually being delivered in the sack. So that means that most pregnancies, your waters will break, whether that's in pre-labour, whether that's in active labour, your waters will break. But occasions where some women's waters do not break, and I was one of them, and it's really rare because the midwife was saying that she'd only seen it like once in 7 years. She came and she said it was the head, and then when I heard that, I literally was just like, right, it's time for me to push this baby and get this baby out. I'm tired. I was so tired at that point. You know when you have 2% of energy? That is what I had. I probably had -2% of energy left. I just took the last bit of energy in me and I pushed. And I didn't push when I had a contraction or anything either. And I think realistically that's what you should have done. By that time, I think her head had been there for quite a while, and that might have, you know, caused a lot of the things that I incurred after. Shannara flew out into the tub, still in her sack. Anyway, the midwife got her, she opened her up really, really quickly. Now, I don't have any footage of this part. I know it would have been amazing to see footage of this, and I really am gutted that I couldn't personally see this all happen because it's so rare. But I will put in a clip of like what it looks like anyway, so you guys can see and have an idea of what to kind of expect. The midwife opened up the sack really quickly. She wanted to check her over. It looked like she had actually I think she had pooed herself in the sack in that time. So they were a little bit concerned. They wanted to make sure that she hadn't, you know, eaten any of her poo. And then they gave me to her. We did skin to skin pretty much straight away. That was phenomenal. And I'll tell you what, I didn't do the like, you know, like you see in all these videos of like mothers when they have their baby and they're literally like, oh my God, and they're wailing and they're crying and all that. Like, I didn't have that. I literally just felt so at peace and just so like an overwhelming feeling. It was just breathtaking. It was just a night. It was like almost like you had a big storm and then there was just calm. Yeah, like I got out of the bath because they started to see that I was bleeding a lot. Now that goes back to the whole fibroid thing. So they were a little bit concerned because they had noted that. They called the doctors as well, so the doctors were coming round. Within that time, I think I had the umbilical cord cut by my husband, which was quite nice for him to do. They also injected my belly with a hormone, but it helps to deliver the placenta in a quicker, just a lot quicker, within like 15 minutes. Or there's another option where you can actually just do it naturally and it usually will come out within an hour. However, for me, I was tired. I was not trying to do all that. Now, when she did the hormone, I did have a bit of, you know, contractions. The placenta, once I had that hormone, it literally came out within minutes. So that was my option. I didn't want to do the total natural way at that moment in time. I was just too tired. They asked me whether I wanted to keep the placenta because there's apparently so many health benefits that you can have or that you can experience if you eat your placenta. Now, I'm not opposed to that and I'm not going to judge anyone for doing that, but I just didn't have the extra cash to even kind of look into that because it is quite pricey. I think it's about £400 on average for the company to take your placenta and tabletize it. Tabletize it? Make it into tablets. Before my husband actually cut the umbilical cord, we did leave a bit of time in between just so that, you know, Chinara had as much nutrients going to her in that time. So the doctors came, they assessed me and she said, you have a 3rd degree tear. So there's different degrees of tears. You've got 1st degree, that's fairly, I think that can probably heal by itself. 2nd degree, you might need stitches. But the 3rd degree is usually like a muscle tear. So I had a bit of muscle tear. And then 4th degree tear is literally when you tear from front to back. I didn't have that, thankfully. I had to have surgery. They wheeled us round to the delivery suite. Chinara stayed with my husband and my mum. I went into theatre. So I went into theatre. They gave me an injection, a local anaesthetic into the lower part of my back. And they told me to stay absolutely still. And they gave me basically an epidural. I literally woke up when they'd finished. Yeah, they had to like pull me onto like the different stretcher beds because obviously I couldn't feel my legs and I couldn't move. About 2 o'clock, I gave birth at 10:25 to a baby girl and she is well. She's sleeping. I did have a tear, but just how it goes. So I'm going to be staying overnight. Staff have been really, really good in my hospital. I'm just happy. Had a really good birthing partners. Well done, guys. Yeah, water birth was great. I'll definitely do it again. Yeah, it's been just a really whirlwind experience and can't wait to get home now. I just want to like be in my own like zone with my baby and just get used to being a mum at home and stuff. So yeah, they done that. They wheeled me back round. My husband was doing skin to skin with Chinara, and yeah, it was just a really nice happy ending. Really, I got home the following day because I had to stay overnight just so that they could check my stitches. I had a catheter also fitted as well, but honestly I didn't, you know, even though I had a tear, yeah, I felt a bit of unease, but the real pain and stuff didn't really happen until a few days later. But I will probably do another video on postpartum recovery and what you need, products, everything like that, because that is a whole different ball game. Medical professionals are realizing that the recovery is just as important as, you know, the first trimester, second trimester and third trimester. So yeah, like that is my delivery story. So thank you guys for persevering and staying tuned. And I just yeah, really thankful for being able to do this video finally. One thing I would say is I'm gonna, you know, all my videos are not going to be just baby based. I am probably going to be doing fashion videos like styling and my hauls, all the things that I buy loads of things. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have a little bit of a problem. Stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on @It's Leah Mai on Instagram and also on Twitter. You can also follow my podcast. So I do a fashion and beauty podcast for 2 queens in a pod. Oh, actually, lastly, before I go, I just want to say I probably will do a Q&A. Now, I'm probably sure that a lot of people will have questions, and I probably might not have actually explained things you know, well enough or gone into as much detail because obviously time. But if you have any questions, send me an email, send me a message. You can send me a message on Instagram or Twitter, or you can email. What I'll probably do is I'll do a quick Q&A. I'll probably either post it on YouTube or I'll post it on to Instagram, IGTV. So with all of that said, I just want to say a big thank you again. And yeah, make sure you stay tuned.